Hi, welcome everyone to this episode of the Dream Podcast. Episode 17, I think, right? I don't know. We've got a very special guest today, my friend Siobhán. Hello. Hello. So we're gonna just talk a little bit about her background and what she's been doing lately, and then we're going to have someone else jump in, and we're gonna talk about foxes. Yeah. How are you feeling today? What's going on in your life today?
I'm good. I think I'm just getting all those autumnal vibes coming through, just feeling that energy. We keep getting the Hermit card.
Yes.
I'm feeling that. I'm feeling like a lot of self-reflection and a lot of digging into things that I'm still carrying within me that are, present. So, yeah, and like that cocooning stage, right? Because we're going to be going into the darker times of the year. So I really feel into that seasonal change. Like I know it's September right now. Like I was saying to you, feeling like the cold, putting all my jumpers on, getting my extra thick pajamas out of the suitcase. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah, you're getting ready for some really big things. Are you gonna share a little bit about like your new projects with us? Because I'd love
Yes.
to.
Yeah. I will.
Yes. Okay, but first of all, let's share a little bit about like how we met, and I guess we connected on Instagram, like let's say about maybe 6 months ago. I don't know.
Yeah, 6
Okay.
months.
Yes, and so this is really cool, like how we just randomly connected through like some videos or something. I think you were like you were drawn to my skating videos, like
Well, I have a big connection to Paris. I love France, and you were like skating around some of the locations that I've been to that I always kind of see in vision. And you're just like
yeah.
gracefully gliding on those beautiful roller skates, and I'm like, she's cool.
And I was like so happy and so touched like when she told me about this, because I didn't know until later on when we started like talking more. But yeah, that's how we connected, and then we started like sharing a few experiences here and there. And then I learned that you work a lot with sound, which I think is super powerful. And then you also just recently launched a new podcast, so I'd love for you to tell people about like what you've been doing lately, and what your podcast is about, so they can maybe tune in as well, because yeah, it's she's bringing in some really amazing messages and just frequency in general. I mean, it's just, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, no, the podcast kind of came about through a friend of mine who I met in LA. Again, we met through social media. We started like having a very it was very clear that we knew each other from another time, and she was a very, a sister to me. So we've been spending a lot of this journey together. She's been the one that's like held me through stuff, and vice versa, some of the really heavy stuff that you have to like uncover on about yourself. And we both had it in us that we knew that we have voices and that our messages should be shared, and we've spent a lot of our lives shutting ourselves down, not speaking, not engaging. So we just decided that, come on, let's get together. And actually we both felt at a place where we could be vulnerable and open up and share our experiences. So essentially it's like that, and it's very organic in the sense of one of us will get a feeling, should we do something this week? Yeah, cool, let's do something. And we'll generally get like a message coming through of what needs to kind of be shared from our perspective. And that's how we let it flow. And then we just record and just, be in the moment. There's not scripted or anything like that. So it's all very organic. But some episodes it's been like quite raw when we've got like some anger working through us, but we're just like, look, we're human and we've got to show the range of emotions, right? We're not robotic. So it is what it is, but it's been really cool because I know that Lily was really nervous about doing some of this. And I've come from a background of film and television, so I was kind of used to, even though I wouldn't share my opinion, I was still used to like being seen in that way. So this is different to me because I actually am vulnerable and I'm sharing stuff from my own experience. So, you know, it's been good. It's been a good part of the journey to like allow yourself to show up, shall we say.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And when you're telling me about this, I just get really like, excited and happy because it's nice to see, people that you care about, I really care about you, and seeing that what you're doing is just, it's bringing, so much joy into your life, and no matter who you do it with. And it's just so the word that came to mind, and, these messages always come in, and it's like,
Yeah.
feeling like people need to hear this, is the engaged detachment that we always carry, like as part of our being. It's like we care about each other, and also about other people, but we're not attached to anybody or anything. And it's like you said, if it flows, it flows, and you're not gonna like be like, oh, she didn't get back to me, or like, if she was gonna do anything today, or same with you and me. It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, she's doing a podcast with somebody else, like, why is she like, I'm like, wow, I feel so happy for you, and like, with whoever it flows. And today we are flowing, so it's, it's like, it's all perfect. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck in these, like, I guess it comes to mind like mental traps or loops or whatnot, about like why people do or not do certain things. But this engaged detachment thing really resonated with me when I learned about it. And it falls into, so just so many categories, relationships. It could be work, it could be anything. You can apply this in your life. And if you're not really attached to anything, but you're connected to everyone and everything, that's really the way to go. I don't know, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit, I suppose one of my major things is like expectations. So it kind of flows into that, right? It's like I used to be someone that kind of visualized everything happening because I would plan for everything. In fact, my old job was a production coordinator. So I had to plan every aspect of film production, but I was doing that in my own life too. So I was never allowing for anything new to come in because I was always organizing, planning. And so it's like expectation. I always had an expectation of what would come. But this whole process as well has been about dropping any expectation, so you can allow to follow like the intuition of things, and practice being detached, right? Like I find that the more you're fixated on something, the more it goes away from you.
Exactly,
Right.
right? Yes. And because people feel that energy of neediness, or of like, you're expecting something from them, and you're like latching on to them because you can't get that from yourself.
Yeah.
You're not independent, you're not free within yourself, and you need other people to either validate you or do things with you, because you don't feel safe within your own reality. And we're not saying, to people listening, we're not saying we're perfect and we're always like, it happens. It happens that we also fall into that. This is all about, hey, this is all about shadow work too, right? It's like when you catch yourself falling into these patterns of like, oh, I feel like I'm maybe depending too much on a person or a situation. You learn to catch yourself and learn to really look within you to see where something is lacking, or where something is off balance, or where you're still holding some fear or whatnot. But yeah, but it's a work, it's a work in progress. So here we're not saying, oh, we're perfect and we're always practicing engaged detachment.
I still get caught up sometimes, don't you worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, why did I react like that? Because it's almost to the point now where it's instantaneous. I recognize I was acting really out of my emotion because that thing triggered me, and I should be in a place now where I've dealt with that. But it still comes, it still happens.
Of course, it can still happen, but it's much like you said, it's much easier to deal with. You catch it faster,
Yeah, you do.
and it's that's we were saying even before we jumped on this call is that we learn to catch that faster than before, and that's what really matters is how far you have come and
Mm,
how much you have evolved, and that now you're yeah you maybe you're still dealing with some things, but it's not in an ever ending what's it called, yeah, never ending loop.
yeah.
It's you are really actually moving forward and reaching you're tapping into that higher potential, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, now I'd love to hear, I'm sorry, did you have anything else to add before we move on to, because I'd love to hear about what your next project is, but let me know if you have anything else to
No,
add.
I mean, the only thing I would say is like I was so quite often when I was new to this process, I was always trying to gain access to like the higher levels, you know, like from the crown and from the third eye and everything. And I kind of like didn't go through the bottom part of you where all those emotions are, the fear and everything, you know. I wanted to like skip that and just be like, I'm divine and I'm connected to, right? But it's so important to get that grounding because I was really ungrounded through a lot of it. And it's just a process from my own like experience, but quite often we just want to go straight up. Well, not when I say up, you know what I'm saying? Like into those divine aspects, whereas you've got to deal with the things that aren't so nice sometimes about you.
Right, and really being a human, right, in this
Mm,
reality, which is what we came here to do. Uh,
exactly. That was the
yes.
other thing. I was always looking at these galactic aspects or these higher dimensional aspects, and I'm like, I'm here. It took me a while to understand that because I always wanted to be somewhere else. And it's like, no, I'm here in a human body having a human experience. Like, think about that. That's amazing. Stop trying to be something else.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because we are other things too, but
Yeah,
we have to focus on what we're here, like where our consciousness is at, and
exactly.
yeah, and why we're here. Of course, there's a reason, and we're here to learn and to master our emotions and all these things. So, yeah, thank you for adding that. Mm, yes. So now tell us about your new project. I'd love to hear about it more and like how maybe new things have come up since we last talked. I don't know. Tell me about
Yeah,
it.
well, my whole situation over the past couple of months has been like on the edge, which I know is like a big initiation for me because I'm someone that's used to being quite stable. Like I said, I used to plan and organize everything, whereas spirit has definitely asked me to jump into the unknown, and I haven't. So the situation with where I live, the house that I live in is actually being sold and I don't have anywhere to go at this present moment. Um, so I've been trying to think of ways to get around that because I still want to be adventurous and to have experiences that I know that can break me out of maybe my comfort zone and some of the behaviors that I do, as we said, like defense mechanisms. Um, so I kept hearing in my reality this website called Workaway. There's something over here in Ireland where people actually say work away as like a phrase. If people are coming into your house to do work, people will say, yeah, work away. And I kept hearing work away. So I went to this website and there's loads of people on there where you can go and stay with them. They might have a farm or they might have a house where they just want you to come and do gardening. There's loads of experiences there. And I found a community who are in Cork and they've been living off the land for about 12 years and they've built all these outbuildings. It's not quite there yet, they still need help, but they have their own vegetables, they've got their own watering space. Yeah, so I've been kind of in contact with them, just seeing what the story is about going there potentially to stay with them because I do see myself living in a community space at some point in the future and I'd like to build that So this whole experience could be useful for knowing the do's and don'ts, what works, what doesn't. And yeah, just seeing how they get on. But like we said the other day, it could actually just be more about breaking down my stuff, right? All the little things I'm still holding on to. So yeah, it's not set in stone yet if I'm going there, but I am just making the parametery contact, shall we say, because I do have a few other options from that website as well. So it just, however it pans out, I'm just trying to let it flow organically, you know.
Ah, so you're still not even sure you're going yet. It's like still up in the air.
Yeah, it's still not been confirmed with them. It depends on a few things on their side as well. So yeah, but I have some other options of people that have come into the space as well in the last couple of days. So it's like, which route basically. But I'm still being asked to just don't panic, just stay in your peace, and the right thing will come when it's ready. So it's going right down to the wire. I only have about 2 weeks left in this house.
Oh wow, that's so crazy, right? It's like similar to my situation, because it's like we feel like the clock is ticking, or like, you know, you got this sand clock, and it's like, oh, you've got so much money in the bank, and it's like dee, dee, dee. So it's like, what are you gonna do? And yeah, and then now we've got Filipa joining us. Hi, dear, how are you?
Hello.
And I think this is the first time you guys meet, right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's cool, like to create connections. So yeah, with Filipa, I connected with her probably even around the same time I connected with you, Siobhán. Like, when did we connect, Filipa? Do you remember or no? No,
Not the exact time, no.
it usually is like this. It's kind of just happens, and then you're like, oh, you know, you just kind of appear in each other's fields a lot. But I believe it was around the same time, and it's the same kind of feeling. It's like, you know, we've had past lives together, all linked to the whole Fox you know, thing, and yeah, the portal, which we like to call it, you know. So yeah, so first of all, Filipa, say hi to everyone. Tell us how you're doing.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And hi, Siobhán. I'm not sure if I'm...
Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you.
So what I'm doing, I'm a natural gynecology therapist. I do natural products that Ishel already know about, and she loves them. I make very different. I have some oils, I have shampoo bars, I have air conditioner, I have a bunch of things, and I'm always creating new stuff as well. And most recently, I got to learn more about some things of Chinese medicine, not Chinese medicine exactly, but some things like acupressure, how the Chinese medicine see the connection between our body and our energies. I'm also into now some face exercise like face massage, even self-massage. So I'm learning a few things now that I will probably share very soon. What I am actually doing for now is just trying for myself. But this is what is happening at the moment.
That's so awesome. Again, like there's so many synchronicities there, because I've been going into those things too, like Qigong and knowing all the meridians. And I actually wanted to go have acupuncture to see what that's like, to see if it can help release some energy blocks. And you're like looking into all that too. It's just like, I love that.
That's crazy. And Filipa is in Portugal, and we actually met in person because of a Fox synchronicity. That was really crazy. I'm gonna share the story, unless you guys have something to say before, but I really want to share the story.
Share it, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So basically, well, maybe we should start from the beginning, right, Siobhán, of how this thing started. It basically started with you and I, right? With you, wait, how do you say you and me? With English, it's really weird sometimes because you don't know when to.
You and I.
No, I think it's
No, you and me.
yeah, wait a minute, you and I. Yes, it's you and I because you're supposed, yeah, in English.
You know more than me.
So the rule in English, what I learned in school was like if you can take away the other person and still make the phrase make sense, then that's the way it should be. Let's say if I say I did this, that's the correct way to say it, right? It said you and I did this. Yes, you can't say you and me did this because you won't say me did this, right?
That's so true. Wow.
That's how you know.
Thank you for that.
So it is you and I. You and I started this thing a little bit, you know. It even started before. It even started before with a few people seeing foxes in random places, and Filipa had even made some like foxes like of crochet a few months before, which she shared with me, and this is how we connected too. But the first, okay, so I was just pulling up the dates because I had that registered here as like Red Fox timestamps. And the first time this happened between you and I was like on July 14th at 1:26 p.m. Like this is Paris time. When you wrote on the wall of a toilet in Ireland, you wrote, "Trust your intuition, follow the red fox." And you had no idea why you just got the nudge to write this down, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So you're just like, oh, I feel like I want to write something down. And then on July 15th, so a day later at around 2:15 p.m. Paris time, I pulled a card with red foxes on it. And I was doing a card reading on my YouTube channel, and I had no idea that you had written red foxes on the wall or whatnot. So later that same day around 9:20 p.m., you texted me because you got ear ringing, right? Listening to the YouTube card reading. When I pulled the card, and I was talking also about Alice in Wonderland at that time, but mostly about the red fox thing because you had written that thing on the wall, and you're like, wow, that just you know, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like that there's a red fox. You're like, there's my red fox, right?
Oh, don't forget though that what drew me to your video was you pointing out foxi or foxes on Instagram first.
Oh yes. So because I was like not like because my card, the card I pulled out had a lot of foxes,
right? A lot of foxes on there, yeah.
Right. And you had written fox in singular. Yeah. So for me it was like, oh, wait a second, is this fox or is foxes like, is it plural? Because in English, you know, coming back to how English can have so many exceptions and stuff, it's like you've got these words where you can't say the S, you got to write an I or something else, like for example cactus, cacti, octopus, octopi, stuff like this. So I'm like, or mice, you know, mouse, mice, it's not mouses, right? So I was like, is this fox or foxes? You know, like, I think it's fox. I said, this is fox. And I pulled it out as fox. These are fox, you know? And that was what drew you to it, because I posted it. I was like, I don't know why. I don't know. This is funny, I guess. And I posted it like that. And that's how you were drawn to the card reading, right?
And then the ear ringing happened when you were talking. And then I just had to message you straight after to be like, wow. I messaged you at the time, actually. I paused the video and said that I just got ear ringing when you said Alice in Wonderland. And then I told you about the fox stuff. And then that was it, really. It just kept going, didn't it, after that?
Yeah. So after that, we kept seeing foxes everywhere. And we had like really resonated with foxes much. Like we didn't really, you know, think much about foxes. And then other people started tuning in and then stuff. And then while I was in Spain with my sister, she had a red fox in her room, a stuffed animal. And I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to post it. I forgot about it like for a couple days, and then the day I was like trying to figure out how I was gonna come back to Paris, because I never got my return ticket. I was just doing things last minute, just being in the now, kind of thing. Let's see where the universe takes us, like, so I was just like, okay, I need to find a way to get back. And my sister was like, oh, why don't you like because she had been to Porto before, in Portugal, and she's like, go look at the tickets, and from Porto. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And so yeah, it was less expensive. And I'm like, well, but I still have to like stay there and pay for a place to stay and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? It's worth it. Either I pay for a ticket to leave from Madrid, which is more expensive, and I don't see anything new because me and my sister my sister and I, there we go. My sister and I, because you say I have been to Madrid. My sister and I had already been to Madrid. So I said, yeah, well, I definitely want to see a new city, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to figure something out. And I was looking at places and stuff. And then I posted the box that my sister had in her room in the meantime. Like, I was just like, oh, I'll post this box today, And then Filipa messaged me, oh, hey, look, I wanted to show you these cute little foxes that I crocheted, right? Was it for your niece or something?
No, it was for a friend. They got a baby, and I have. And actually, this is also a nice story. But you finish sharing
Yeah,
this,
okay.
and I share mine.
Okay, yeah, you tell the story about the baby and stuff, because yeah, I mean, we connected through these foxes a lot, right? And it's like, okay, so she posted, no, she sent me the picture of the foxes she did crochet of, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, wait a second, she's in Portugal? Is she near Porto? And I was like, I think maybe, did she move away or did she move to Porto? I don't remember. So I had to text her, and I was like, where are you? It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm like right next to Porto. And the funniest thing was like the rides, because I was looking at how to get a ride there and stuff. And one of the persons that was available to give me a ride was arriving to, what's it called, the place you live. I'm not gonna, we don't have to say it here, but right next to Porto. And I'm like, she told me I live there, right next to the same area that this person was arriving to, in the car. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. This is just too crazy. I was like, okay, we've got to, and we said we've got to meet up and stuff, and and so, and we actually, yeah, we organized it so that everything was like, yeah, just perfect, right? Like, in place, everything. And I found a place to stay that was near a beach, which also had some significance, I think, like karmically, like in terms of karmic like past lives and stuff, near the beach. And I felt so many things coming through, like, and Filipa and me and her boyfriend went to an area where I also felt a lot of strong energies, like just as if we had stuff to clear or see, or just kind of anchor in energies or something. It was really crazy. But yeah, I think, I went a little too far in the story, but Filipa, if you want to go back and tell us about the boxes you made for the baby, go ahead. Go ahead.
So this was a funny thing, because I was at the time I was checking when was the first fox that I've crocheted, and was on March 10. And I need to crochet something new, something different that I never did before, blah, blah, blah. And it came to my mind, oh, try to crochet some stuff for the babies. Or either you sell or whatever, I don't know. So I was looking for some stuff, and I really like the fox thing. I'm going to do this one. So I I've crocheted everything, because this is a set with a bunch of stuff, so a blanket, a thing for the pacifier, stuff like that.
Oh, so cute.
Like, yeah. And I was like, okay, now it's finished. What I'm supposed to do with this? And now, okay, this is not to sell. Okay, fine, it's not to sell, whatever. This is to offer to someone, but I don't know who.
Yeah, so you got the message that you were making something and you didn't know why, right?
No. Yeah, I had no idea at that time to who was this for. And a couple of months after, I saw that this friend of mine was having a baby. And I said, oh, but the click was not that time yet. So that thing passed, I heard the news. And after the baby was born, I look at the thing and, oh, now I know who is this for.
Yeah, that happens. Like we get the message, like we connect the dots a little bit later.
A lot later. And was then the time that I sent you the picture was about the time that I realized to whom the fox was.
Oh, so you had this aha moment and then you shared it, and wow, that's so cool. Because you had that aha moment, that's why we connected and that's how we met. And wow, it's like these high frequency moments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a pinging of data or something for you to connect. Or like, you know, with the red fox thing, I was just sat in that moment it sounds really strange, but in the toilet, not actually on the toilet, but I see all these things written on the wall. And I'm like, I want to write something, but I don't want to preempt it. And I just started writing, and that's what came out. Like, you know, like a data packet. Like, where's that come from? Why would I say that? So yeah, like you're saying, Filipa, is you get this kind of urge or intuition, but you don't exactly know why, and then it all starts to come together. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And we had these, like, you know, these really cool moments of realizations and things during these times that everybody was connecting with foxes, because I think it also makes people like think about certain things in their reality. It doesn't have to be necessarily directly linked with what's happening to us individually, but everybody has their own thing going on. Like I had another friend going to a concert and seeing it on a wall, and then that moment was, you know, kind of, we have these like numinous experiences, but each of us individually, you know, but that's like we get that message to like connect to that energy, and then it brings us to having our own like personal realizations or whatnot. But I think it's just so wonderful, right? It's like we were saying, opening this portal to like create these connections and eventually even do some kind of like grid work or some sort of thing, you know.
when you said that you were meeting up and you're going to Porto, like that's what it felt like to me. Like you guys were meeting to do some sort of energetic work, and then you said later on that's kind of what we picked up on. Because there's definitely, because I said before, Filipa, that I was meant to go to Porto before the lockdown. I was going to go for my birthday because I've always been drawn there. It's like beautiful, yeah.
Oh.
So I never actually got to go. And then you said, oh, on a random chance, like I'm going to meet someone there connected to the foxes. And I'm like, man, that's so cool.
That's true. You did text me that.
Yeah, I was meant to go for my 32nd birthday or 33rd birthday, or whenever it was. But yeah, so obviously didn't make it there.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's so crazy. I just, yeah, I feel like a lot of us have been connecting in past lives in these areas and on the planet, and then we're just naturally drawn to them today. And you know, eventually we'll get to, it doesn't have to be in that place, but I do feel like we're going to connect more, you know, more and more in the physical, kind of like with Filipa and Felipe. I love how you guys have the same name, basically. It's so funny. Yeah. It was so much fun. I'm still like, you know, every time I remember, like, yeah, the times we had it. Yeah, it was really cool. And so feeling into that, you know, like how, you know, when I'm gonna get to meet Siobhán in person, it's gonna be the same. And I'm just so excited when that's gonna happen. And then imagine all of us like
Oh my God. The energy.
I know, right? Yeah,
I don't know if you met all of us together, if the place will
will explode.
So much energy. Yeah, it's interesting because we were saying this just before we started, how a lot of, well, actually all my friends are scattered across the world right now. I don't have a lot in the physical, shall we say. It's only like my immediate family and stuff, but all my connections in the past 2 years have come from, you know, being on the internet. And I have such close connections to people, but I've never actually physically met them in this lifetime. Although, you know, we know that we connect in other ways, other realms or whatever. But it is just fascinating because you have to have that vulnerability of being online and not being able to read people as such by meeting them in person. Because that's how I used to like go about my life, is I'm very good at reading people, but this is different doing it online, and that comes with its own work, right? Your own shadow work and stuff like that we spoke about. But yeah, it's just wonderful that we have that experience and we're meeting people again, because it felt like a lot of, especially after all the lockdowns, which seemed like a distant memory to me, but then to have family coming back in online has just been so nice. And the conversations that you and I have all the time when we're like, I'm feeling this way, are you feeling that? And you're like, yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm like, woof, that's good.
Yeah, you don't feel so alone. And then or sometimes if you're not feeling exactly the same way, but still you can relate to it, and then you're like,
exactly.
Yeah, you can we can help each other out in that sense because we've been through something similar. That I think is really powerful as well.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I was gonna say something else. Hold on, there's something that I wanted to share. Go ahead and talk about something in the meantime, because I'm trying to think about something.
I was gonna say, like, when was this? This was March. Strangely, this was outside my house on the street, and my dad decided that I would like it. I don't know why, I'm not a child anymore, but he decided I would. So he brought this in, and I'm like, Dad, where did you get this from? He was like, it was on the street outside. And I couldn't decide whether it was a coyote or a fox, but it definitely says fox on the label.
Yeah, for those people listening to the audio of this, this is a little fox stuffed animal that was found outside Siobhán's house. That I thought was like really cool, like how it started even before we even realized, you know. And Filipa, when did you say you started crocheting the foxes before?
It was in March as well, March 10th. Yeah.
How about you, Siobhán? When did your dad find the fox?
I'm gonna check the photos because I took a photo of this on the night it happened.
Yeah, check to see if it was around the same time. Are you still in the other house, Filipa, or did you guys move already?
Not yet.
Not yet. Are you still figuring out the stuff with like the bank and all that? And
yeah, a little bit. A little bit. It's, I mean, we don't have a structure to move right now because I'm all over the place. Philip is all over the place with the work and whatever. Because he cannot schedule a day, you know. Imagine he wakes up and the day changed completely after 5 minutes if it happens, you know.
What does he do?
He's a commercial. He sells beverages.
Oh, okay. So he has to kind of be here, there, and everywhere.
With the clients and meet new clients, and he never knows how it's going to be next.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, he lives very much in the unknown, and so that kind of stresses him out a little bit. Yeah. And how are the dogs?
I have one here.
Oh, can you show?
Care. Yes, I can show. He's sleeping.
Who is it? Wait a second. Their names are Mike. Is it Mikey? No, Mike.
Yeah, Mike and Delta.
Yes, Mike and Delta. I met them and they're crazy.
Oh,
hey. So that's Delta?
That's Delta, yeah.
Yes. So cute and sleepy. My favorite one is Mikey. He's really silly.
Super silly, super silly.
Yeah. Oh, how's the temperature for you guys? Because for us, it's like 18 degrees and it's kind of raining, 18 degrees
Oh,
Celsius.
here stopped rain yesterday. Now it's very, very, very hot.
Oh, really? Again.
Very
Oh,
hot now,
man.
yeah.
That's crazy. I wonder how winter's gonna. Do you guys get really cold winters?
It depends. Sometimes the last year wasn't not much cold. I think. I think we
Okay.
had colder winters before.
Okay. Yeah, we've gotten like less cold winters too. It doesn't snow as much as it used to. And the snow, if it does snow, it just stays like for a few minutes and then it melts.
Yeah.
So it's changed a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Here in Portugal, only in a few places it snows. For example, here in Porto doesn't snow. It's more for
okay.
no, it's more north and a little bit for the interior, north interior as well.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's super foggy in the beach in Porto. Like I was like, it feels like you're living in a cloud. Like,
If you were here this morning, we would love it. It was super, super foggy this morning. Even
really.
more than that first day that you were here. Yeah.
So I bet people have a really hard time driving around that area then.
It's a mess.
Wow, that's so crazy. And then after a few hours, it's like, oh, the sun is out. And it's like,
Yeah, and now it's super sunny. It's very hot. Nothing like in the morning. Nothing.
so weird. I find that really interesting because it's like you wake up and you're like in this gloomy kind of like, but still cool because it feels like I said, like you're going through clouds and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, woo, everything's so bright and it's so funny. That doesn't happen here. Here it's more like it's just kind of cloudy a lot, and then we get sun once in a while and so, but fog, it's very weird. It's very rare to get fog in Paris. I've never seen fog here. It had been a long time since I saw fog actually, like in real life. I've always kind of liked fog.
I love fog. This is so strange to me because it's like an everyday thing in Ireland as well. And like you hardly ever see fog. That's so strange.
But it is like going through a cloud, isn't it? Because you're like, you
Yeah.
can't see anything. You're like swimming through this cloud. Yeah.
Can't find this picture, but I know it was March. I know it was March time.
Oh, you can't find it. Let me see if I can find it in mine because you sent it to me, right?
Yeah, but I took that picture on the day when I just found this and I just sent you a picture of it. But when it came in, it was about March because I was reading this specific book, which I have a picture of in March because it talks about a fox in the book.
Did you send it on Telegram?
Yeah, I think I did.
Because you told me the day or something, or did you tell me the day? I forget. Let me see. Hold on, I'm gonna search Fox on Telegram. Oh no, that's not gonna help. There's a lot of foxes mentioned on Telegram.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You got like the fox emoji going like this.
Oh, that dude, yeah.
That's what I got when I typed fox. But you know it was in March, right? So that is
I know it was March because
crazy.
I was reading this book called Rainbow Medicine, and one of the chapters is about the fox energy, like talks about the directions. It's like a Native American book, and fox is in there. So it was about a week later then my dad brought this in after I read that chapter, because the fox energy is like that sort of trickster energy. So I was like, oh, what's the message here that you're bringing into me? And then this has just gone on and on to the point where we're at today, like, you know, crazy. It's a really good book, actually.
What'd you say?
It's a really good book, actually.
Oh, what's the name of the book for the people listening? Because I'd like to like recommend books and stuff for people.
It's called Rainbow Medicine. Let me grab it so I can know the author.
Yes, yes. I love the, you know, everything that has to do with like with rainbows. Yes, yeah, has been a lot in my field lately too. Like yeah, rainbows.
Yeah.
And just the heliotalic frequencies, like all the spectrum of colors and stuff.
This is the book.
Oh,
Rainbow
okay.
Medicine by Wolf Moondance.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
It's really cool. She does like these vision quests, and she goes in and she speaks to aspects and has a message that she pulls through that is, you know, it's all about like, you know, as you call it, shadow work and meeting yourself in these different aspects or archetypes, and kind of knowing how to, yeah, like learn to love those parts of yourself as well and get the message from them. But yeah, there's a whole chapter on the fox in here. It was just so interesting how it all has flowed out from there, really.
Yeah, wow. Yes. And okay, so yes, this is it's coming back now. What I wanted to say before or what I wanted to share is that the way we're connecting and doing all this I guess grid work or whatnot has a lot to do with past lives and things that we are, I guess, karmic imprints and stuff that we're either collapsing timelines or healing certain energies or whatnot, or anchoring in energies. And so the thing about the place where I was staying in Porto was it's very interesting what I got, because so what happened was that we were talking about this, right, with Filipe, Filipa's boyfriend, and I said, yeah, I feel like it's important for me to be here, and he said, yeah, I think, you know, there's something about the history. And I'm like, okay, wait, don't tell me. I want to meditate on it and see what comes up for me, and then I would like to compare with what you think. Because this is a way that we can practice, you know, our I guess higher dimensional senses or whatnot, is seeing, you know, how what you can catch, and like not like thinking about things based on what other people say, but really tuning into what you think and feel, and then comparing it to what comes into your field or what other people say. I think that that's like, you know, for me, it's been the way I do things recently. So I told him, yeah, wait for me to meditate on it. So I did that. I did a short meditation, and what came up was the ocean, the waves, a ship. India came up as well, and then also something else was there too. Just in general, the ocean, right? And then something about healing. This message kept coming in of like, heal me, something like that. It's like, oh, something needs healing here. And then the left side of my body was like kind of twitching, like I felt something there. And I had recently learned that the right side of the body represents the masculine, our masculine side, and the left side is the feminine. So I was like, oh yeah. And then plus, you know, the water and stuff, I'm like, yeah, there's, you know, feminine energies are being healed in this area for myself, and probably in the collective consciousness as well at this time. And so the next day I told him, so this is what I got. And he said, oh, I was actually going to ask you if you had a strong connection to India, because that's what he was thinking about. He's like, oh, there at a certain time in history, there were a lot of like ships going coming into Porto from India and back, and also other people that came in. Like historically speaking, there's a very strong energy in this area where I was staying, basically. So I was like, wow. It's like he said it was like, for him, it's like a karmic passageway or something. It's like you go through there because there's something there that needed to be you know, seen, or just, you know, part of your life in this 3D reality in this lifetime. You had to go through there in a certain way. And a few things also when we met up, a few things didn't go the way we expected and stuff. So it's like we felt like we were being blocked from doing certain things, but we had to adapt to it and kind of be like, okay, it's okay, you know, like let's do something different. Like that day I arrived was super foggy, and we were planning on doing something at the beach and stuff, and we didn't have nice weather. We still went. We had a, like, I guess a lower kind of like frequency, because we're like, oh, we're not as happy as we would have been if everything was sunny and nice. But you know, we were still there, we still did it, and it was still a very powerful experience. But yeah, we kind of did feel like there was some kind of interference there, you know, and this is something that I'll probably touch on more later on, of like how, yeah, there are interferences, of course, but you decide how you're going to deal with them, and also why are you even attracting these interferences, right? So there's a lot of stuff about shadow work here and all, but yeah, in general, you know, it was a very nice experience, and that's what I wanted to share. That kind of I didn't develop on further earlier, but yes.
Was that before or after you had the dream about the ocean that you sent me? Because you sent me that whilst you were on vacation.
That was after. Yeah, so I got that dream. It wasn't a dream, it was a weird kind of you know, the portal kind of experience that I call, like the ear ringing thing that I get when I'm not really asleep or awake. It's kind of like this in between state, I guess.
I thought you had a dream where, because you asked me what's your interpretation of this, and you were at the ocean and you were being asked to jump into the ocean or something.
No, I kind of, I felt like I had to, because I was kind of afraid to jump into the ocean. Yeah, yes, and I did share this in one of the episodes for anyone who wants to check it out. Which one is it? I think it's called, so this is an episode called "What Is It About the Ocean?" Yes, on August 16th, I posted the episode where I share this experience. And I, you know, for everyone it's going to mean something different. I know what it means for me, and it meant something for you as well. So it's like, what is it about the ocean that makes it so what did I say? So scary. It was so beautiful yet so scary. But anyway, you'd have to, you know, listen to the whole experience, because there were other things before, but it always comes back to, yeah, the ocean, right? So yeah, I was just very surprised at how things kind of started falling, you know, together. And the ocean I got before, that was when I was in the south of France, right before that experience in Spain and in Porto. So it's always kind of leading me back, yeah, to the ocean always. So
I actually just got the visuals of like flowing water, like, you know, coming from the top, from the mountain, and then we're always flowing back to the ocean.
Oh,
and sometimes we try and fight that, and we try and go uphill, but it's like, no, just flow back with the water, flow to the ocean. Because
yeah.
it's like cleansing, isn't it? It's like a reset in a way. It's always going back, reset, right? I've cleansed, I've released that, and now I go on, you know, to the next part. And then it's like, now come back to the ocean, because I have that too, where I'll go through something here, and suddenly my auntie calls me. She lives by the ocean, and she'll say, do you want to come and visit for a week? And the most amazing cleansing, healing experiences happen. And then I come back and I'm here, and then I may get another urge, I need to go to the water, and I go to the ocean. So it's like a cycle, you know?
Yeah. It's, you know, what really I guess struck me was when you said come back to center. I do feel like it does have this kind of centering kind of a quality for us, you know, who relate a lot to this energy, because we are very connected to the ocean, and it helps us cleanse and center and come back to ourselves before, you know, we go back into the noise, and, you know, like kind of having to filter out all the noise and stuff.
It's so interesting, because I like, my dad often comes with me, and he'll say to me, what is it about the ocean? Because I can be sat there for hours just listening, tuning in, and just letting it surround and wash over me. And he's just like, he just can't understand why I can actually sit there for so long. But it's actually, like you say, that centering, coming back into yourself, and that balancing, just to be. Because
Yeah.
we spend so much of our time just doing and trying to find things, and you know what I mean. But it's like actually forcing you, or not even forcing you, you enjoy it, but you sit there and you just let it all go.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I've had this even, kind of the feel called to just go and just sit in a tub, it's like go
Oh my
find
God,
somewhere where I
yeah.
can sit in a tub. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the ocean, but
No.
I've been through so much inner work where I feel like I have to be in the tub,
Yeah, I feel that so much. And I haven't had a bath in like 2 years in the houses that I've lived in, and I miss them.
Yeah, I don't have a tub in my apartment, but
You
I
know
always
what?
find one of
I
those.
actually had a week where I went through some really huge dismantling of things, and I nearly booked into a hotel for the night just to use the bath.
Oh, I've done that. That's what I've done. That's what I've done for sure.
Of course you have. You get me. You know where I'm coming from. I just wanted a hot bath with like the jets, and the light.
Yeah.
I love that you understand. Oh God.
Of course. Oh man, I just love that, we can really, understand where we're coming from. That's just so cool, and so grateful. Oh.
So cute.
Yeah. I think we lost Filipa. She's still in
She's drinking water.
She's frozen. Oh wait, she's back. Are you there?
I'm here. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. I couldn't. You were frozen to us, like you were drinking water.
Really?
Yeah, for ages, just drinking water. I'm like, you must
why
be
we
really
were-
thirsty.
For a while, I was like, when is she gonna stop drinking water? Like, just like this. How about you, Filipa? Do you wait? Do you take baths or like feel called to do like be in the ocean and stuff a lot? Or what is your go-to to get centered actually?
I always have been living near the ocean. Always, because in my hometown I live about 15 minutes by car from the ocean. When I move out, when I start working, I lived near the ocean about 10 minutes walking. Yeah, and now I'm here, and I like to go regularly to the beach, just to go there, just to see, just to look. I don't need to do anything. I just like to be there.
That is so nice. You're so lucky. Oh my God. Well, I mean, yeah, of course, we can say that and compare. I was talking about how we compare ourselves to other people all the time and like, oh, she's so lucky for this. Oh, she has that, or and I don't have that, or they don't have that, but I have this. It's like, no, like, okay, we all are going through, our stuff, and but if what we have, what came to mind to me is like what we have is what we really need, and what we don't have we don't need. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Like,
Yeah, so true.
yeah, if you have the ocean, that's because you really need it right now, and that's a good thing, that you have it, because it's really supporting you in your journey.
I
And
had this kind of
yeah.
message the other day about money.
Mm.
That if I had money, I was thinking about if I had a lot of money, I would have probably gone on holiday. I would have like gone to do all these like plant ceremonies and all this kind of stuff, But actually, what I needed was to be here in a very basic, simple way to understand, I guess, more about myself, but also that we don't need all those things to help us to uncover the stuff that we need to work through. We actually just need to focus on ourselves instead of like always. I get distracted a lot, and I think that was the whole point. If I had a lot of money, I would just be so distracted by all these activities.
I was
right?
saying that.
Yeah.
I think if you have a lot of money, you are like, oh, now I can go to this place and this and this and that, and about ourselves and what is left for us to do. We don't have that like the urge to just sit down and healing ourselves, because we were still doing a lot of things, you know.
Exactly. So like that's the message I got through, was like, if you did have all this money, you wouldn't be where you're at right now. So stop.
That is so true. I was, you know what, that also applies to relationships. I was telling this to somebody else before. Yeah, like, you know, some of us are maybe in relationships and yeah, that's we're working through things through that relationship, you know, but those of us who are not, if we were, then we'd probably be super comfortable and be like, oh, I don't need to be of service to humanity. I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like I said, we get what we need, and what we don't have, we don't need it, because it's making us do things that are leading us to what we're really supposed to be focusing on. Yeah, that thank you for saying that, because that does make a lot of sense about the money, and I hadn't thought about it that way. And yeah, that makes sense.
I know. When it came through, I was like, oh, that actually makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now complaining.
Yeah, it's like this drives us to really do our work.
It does.
Yeah. That reminds me, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, it forces me to be in this very simple time right now of just being present with myself and actually looking at myself, whereas old me would have been here, there, and everywhere, you know. So like distracting myself from the task, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful. Truly.
Yes. That's how you can learn to be grateful for things, when you realize that everything happens for a real reason, for you to be doing what you're supposed to do, and not what you think you want, or what you think you're supposed to do. Yeah, because what you think you want is really different from what you actually want deep down within your core.
Yeah, it's so true. And again, like when I quit my job, like my full-time, well-paid job, and I started on all this, I had so many of these expectations, right? Of like, I'm going to set up this business and this company and that company. And none of it happened. And I'm like, Spirit, what do you want from me? I've given you everything. And they're like, nah, girl, this isn't it. This isn't for you. Keep going, though.
And both of me, Filipa and I, were like, yeah, I've been there too.
Oh man, like you say, you have this idea of what you want, but it's not what the universe, that's not what it is for you. But again, all the things you learn from these things and take on and leave behind, it's all just to help you expand and grow, to know. And as well, we always say, you've actually got everything within you anyways. It's just about going through that and believing in that being there for you, instead of like always looking externally for everything. But
yes,
yeah, it's been a wild ride, and you know what, I love it. I honestly do. I know there's days when you're like, oh God, but I'm so grateful.
Yeah, that's a really good point, to be grateful for what we truly have, but genuinely, not just, okay, so here's what's coming through for me right now. It's like some people kind of force themselves to be grateful, and I've been there too. It's like, okay, I get it, I'm grateful, kind of thing.
Right.
Like, but you know,
but you are not grateful.
You're not. Because you're like, okay, but why? You know, but why? Just tell me why this is happening. But then you get it. It kind of clicks, like with Siobhán. It's like, oh, I see that this is not. It's just not what I really want, and I'm building up to what is really for me. And that's why I don't have all this money. Otherwise, I would be like elsewhere doing other stuff that doesn't have anything to do with my real purpose. I'd be completely off track. I wouldn't be doing my shadow work, you know. And and discovering all the things that are deep within myself that I don't want to look at. So this is, it's so amazing. Wow. It reminds me of this movie. I had posted about it. It's called what's it called? The Adjustment Bureau, and it talks about, have you seen that? Have you guys seen that movie?
No, I saw the clips you posted about it though.
Yeah, it's like, so there's this couple, right? It's like actually this guy who meets this girl, and he is like running for senator or something, and he's really motivated, and he doesn't have a girlfriend or anything, but he's super motivated, and he wants to help people, but like genuinely he's a good person. He wants to really help people. And all of a sudden he meets this girl and they fall in love, and she's like a ballerina dancer, and she's aspiring to be famous, and stuff. The thing is, when they meet, they're like, wow, they feel so good with each other and they want to be together, but the universe is like the completely, no, they separate them. Like, let's say like there's this kind of adjustment bureau, like these people that are kind of in charge of watching over what humans do, because they have free will but they don't know what the heck they're doing. So it's like, nope, you guys cannot be together. So they make it so that they don't see each other again. But this guy is so obsessed with the girl that he wants to see her again. And then the Adjustment Bureau people have to explain to him why they can't let them be together. And the explanation is that the guy said, they sit him down on a chair and they're like, if you are with this girl, you lose your motivation completely to help people. You just kind of want to, you guys are going to be together. Yeah, but you're just going to, end up doing random things, but you're not going to be who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be the president of the United States, and change the world or whatnot, But with her, you don't have that motivation anymore. And with you, she doesn't become a world famous ballerina. So, both of them are kind of like, yeah. So he's very sad because the guy's like, if you really love her, let her go and do your thing, So it's like, oh my God, why does it have to be this way? It's sad, but at the same time, it's like, but what is your true purpose, and who are the people you're actually going to meet if you go on your path, instead of obsessing about this girl you met in a bathroom, in a random building, whatnot. But yeah, but the movie has a really nice ending to it. It can go both ways. I think, if we're conscious of our limitations and what we can and can't do, and our shadows, we can definitely, I think, for me, override certain things that are kind of written in, like in the script. Because this guy goes on a quest and ends up overriding certain things. But you guys have to watch the movie to like figure it out. I'm not going to give it away, but it's a really cool movie, and the message, I think, is very powerful, because it's like, okay, are you going to, do what you're predestined to come and do here, and just kind of follow along, or are you going to break the rules and do your own thing, but being aware that you are here for a bigger mission, not just be like, oh, I'm just gonna be comfortable and that's it, I don't want to do the work. So yeah, there's a lot of things in that movie that I think could be useful for people. So anyway, yeah, that was the whole spiel about that movie. Yeah. But anyway,
I watched a film called Source Code yesterday. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's a bit similar in that way. Yeah, so he eventually kind of goes into a parallel reality and changes the outcome of a situation. There's a lot kind of similar vibe to what you're explaining about, actually.
Oh, what's the name of the movie? The Source Code?
Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, it touches on like, do we have free will or not as well in this one.
Yeah, I still think about that a lot, actually.
Well, I don't know, my take on that is that we do, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like, I do think some things are kind of, I guess, like, because when you don't really know what you're doing, it's like you can maybe break some cosmic laws and stuff, kind of like the dream that you had, where we opened these portals and stuff, like the dream where I was like, saying, oh, let's just bring all my probable selves into this reality, whatever, F the natural or what cosmic laws,
Yeah.
And
I still remember being down in hell and trying to climb out of that. So
This is a dream that Siobhán had, Filipa. For those of you who didn't, this is an episode that we did about this dream that she had, and I sent her to hell by accident because of my decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, it still hurts a little.
No, I'm so sorry.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? I do feel like we have free will, like do whatever you want, but to a certain extent, because then if you're breaking rules or cosmic laws like that, they have consequences. So the consequences in in and of itself, or what's the phrase, like, yeah, they will make you kind of regret what you did, but not because it was good or bad. It's just because the consequences that happened were not very nice, you know. So it's like, yeah, you have to be responsible. Yeah, you have to be I guess accountable for the decisions that you make. And every decision that you make will have a certain consequence. It could be positive or negative in your personal experience, you know. So that's where we have to think, okay, yes, we do have free will and whatnot, but what are you actually doing with your life, and where is it leading you, and is it making you feel good about yourself, or is it making you feel like crap? And that's where you have to, like, you know, either switch your choices to doing something that's more aligned with you, or, you know, just stay that way if you want, but that's your choice, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, like going about your business, say if I did have that money and I just went to, I don't know, Las Vegas or something and just started gambling and shit. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's a very different kind of vibe to what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Not that I would, actually. I don't like the sounds of Las Vegas at all, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, I've been to Las Vegas. Have you guys been to Las Vegas?
No.
Oh, I went
to the desert, but I don't want to go gambling and with flashy lights and shit. That's just not my vibe.
No, I never went gambling, but I have been there, and it's definitely a very a very interesting vibe, like you said.
I feel like there must be like a vortex, like energy center there, right? Yeah,
there is.
Kind of sucks in all the weird energies and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, there is. There's a vortex there, especially in the desert. I went to that Burning Man event, you know. I've been to it twice, and yeah, now I definitely realized like that I was definitely in a vortex, and I didn't have a bad experience, but you know, I think it was part of my whole awakening process, I guess. But I don't think I'd go back there again, you know, like that, because I was thinking about it as, this is great for me, you know. I wouldn't go back like that. Maybe I'd go back to just kind of check it out and be like, oh, let's see what's new here. But it's yeah, it's definitely a vortex, like you said.
So, Filipa, do you have star forts in Porto? They're like in the shapes of stars. Are there any in Porto?
I don't know. Honestly.
You don't know?
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean? No,
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, like when you see them from and like you mean in a bird's eye view?
Yeah.
Why? What's the importance of the star ports, like?
Well, we think that the ways of connecting the cosmic energies coming down to actually like harmonize the waters that are around it, and actually bring through healing frequencies.
Oh yeah.
But obviously in these days they've all become military bases and they've been switched off. But actually, if they were working, they're all sacred geometric patterns, and they come down and they just send out beautiful codes into the area. But I was just wondering if you had any in Porto, because that's what I've been getting a lot of stuff coming through on those, and I was wondering potentially that's why you went there, but maybe there aren't. Is Porto is it on the coast or is it by a river?
It's both.
Both, okay.
Because it's in like a corner, you know, with the river and the ocean.
Got you. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of them and see if you. But yeah, from above you can see the star shape. They're all around the world, and they're all there ready to like be utilized.
Yeah, I've seen them in pictures too. People talk about them online a lot. And yeah, I guess for me, from what I understood, and you can tell maybe more, Filipa, I don't know what you think about Porto, is it seems like it was a very, I guess, an area where people came and went, and there was a lot of exchange going on, and it's more so like a just like I guess a receiving. That's the word that came to mind. It's like receiving and sending out energy, but in the way of like yeah, the ships, you know, that carried people and that were, you know, arrived in that area to either be part of like some sort of like conquest or a war, or you know, I don't know, can you tell us more maybe, Filipa? I don't know.
Yeah, so on the time that Portugal discovered Brazil and all other countries, the ships were from Porto. The families were traveling to Brazil by ship and from Porto, and they come back from Porto as well, to Porto as well. And it's also from here that the I don't remember quite the name, but the Porto wine was also shipped from here. So we have here, and also one thing is where the Ishel was staying here, and one of the places that we went, it used to be a port, but it's not anymore. We just think that was because the way that the place is with the rocks and whatever, because it was easy for the ships to go there. Yeah. But yeah, and I think most of the ships were from here in the beginning, because the Portugal begins here, and then was extended to the south.
Yeah, okay. Yes. So yeah, that's definitely why I feel like it was important, you know, that we met, and then specifically around these times there was something around also the elections, right? And in Brazil or something that are happening.
Yeah.
When are they? November?
No, October.
October, yes, already very soon. Yeah.
And we were talking about the heart of Dom Pedro I of Brazil, because it wasn't here, it was in Brazil to celebrate the 200 years of independence. And we talk about it because it's a very big mark and a very energetic thing. That's why the heart moved there for this specific time. And we talk about it as well, because there are some like energies that doesn't want to celebrate these kind of things. And was Dom Pedro I from Brazil and Dom Pedro IV from Portugal that gave the independence of Brazil, and then he had to come back to Portugal for the war.
Yeah, so it's for those of you who want to look it up. So Dom Pedro the First, right? But he is known as Dom Pedro the First in Portugal, right? And in Brazil, no, backwards. In Brazil.
Dom Pedro First, Brazil, Dom Pedro IV, Portugal.
Yes, he's known as Dom Pedro the Fourth in Portugal. So if you want to check out the history behind that, it's he when he died, he asked for his heart to be in Portugal because that's where he felt he had his greatest victory, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and now they're asking for the heart. They asked for it. It's already there, right? It's already in Brazil. They transferred it to Brazil in August.
Just for this celebration for the 200 years.
For 200 years of victory, which was around the time we met, which I thought was like, you know, just super cool, because it's like they, like you said, they don't want this to be seen as something, some people see it, I guess, as like, oh, this, they're trying to distort the history, whereas actually this president, it seems like he's trying to bring awareness to what actually happened in the history between Portugal and Brazil. And you know, this goes even deeper into like the numerology behind it. Some people studying gematria are seeing that maybe this is linked somehow to the World Cup or something, and how maybe Portugal is going to be going against some other big country in the end. But this is already being controlled by the elites and all. This is a bunch of stuff like behind all this, so it's really interesting. Yeah. And the tsunamis behind it, like yeah, some people are saying that this is gonna be like behind this is a lot of like tsunamis coming in or something, or especially one big tsunami, maybe in the Canary Islands.
Yeah, I was when you told me about it, I was searching, and they are talking about that tsunami for since at least 2013. That will be a big tsunami in Canary. Yeah.
Wow, that's so crazy. And these people, you know, they've been like I don't know if they got this information. I don't think they got it online. They've been getting it from the numbers they've been calculating, like saying, oh, I think it's from this, and linking events online and in movies and stuff. And that's how they've been figuring this out. And they're like, there's going to be a tsunami somewhere soon, like from the Canary Islands. So yeah, let's wait and see, right, what happens here. But yeah. Anyway, Siobhán, did you want to say something? I'm sorry, we kind of cut you off on the. I think you were talking about this.
I'm just listening.
It's so crazy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the guys that are doing that, they're amazing, because that's just not my thing. As in, I know we've all got certain areas, right, that we're bringing the piece of whatever it is that we're bringing through. But I'm just like, wow, you guys are next level when it comes to like cracking data and doing all that stuff, because it's just like, wow, it's full time, man.
Yeah, like you said, everyone has their thing going.
Has their thing, yeah. So I enjoy, because I know the guys, like I watch some of their lives and stuff, especially with some of the news that has happened in the past week or so. And you know what, I just enjoy the vibe of them all coming together and collaborating, and I love that. I love when I see team members, like we're having a lovely like call today, and I just love that energy of like working together. It's beautiful. So I just love seeing stuff like that, especially when people have passions and they're all kind of doing it, and you get to be a witness to that, and everyone lights up with it. It just makes my heart happy, you know.
Oh,
We don't often like appreciate each other as much as maybe we should. So when I see my guys over there working on all the numerology and everything, I'm like, yes, guys, go for it.
yeah, especially because it brings them, you know, fulfillment and joy and stuff. That's what's cool. That's what raises the frequency of everyone and the planet, is people doing what they like.
Like we were having this conversation the other day, because you've been kind of questioning, what am I going to do about my website and stuff? Am I just going to like let it all go? We kind of still don't have anything concrete per se of what it is that we're doing at the moment. I mean, I'm still just going from day to day. But do you know what I mean? And it's like trying to navigate that. But you know, I think it's a process that we're going through to refine, like you said earlier, what we do like, what we don't like, and then creating something that's already within us from that. I don't know. But just being open, like you said the other day, being open to things, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is so amazing. I'm so glad that you guys could meet, because you know, having this conversation with 3 people. This is the first time I do this for the podcast, so it's a pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Did you guys want to add anything else? I'm gonna have to jump off because I gotta get my daughter here at school here.
I'm good.
You're good. How about you, Filipa?
I'm good too. I just want to say thank you for inviting us, because I think that is a very nice thing. I don't know, just to share stuff, not with a specific thing. And it's very nice, and it's very good that you are bringing that, not just for us that are here, but for everyone that is listening.
Oh, yay. I'm so happy. Yeah. And you know, and Yes, we're going to keep doing that. You know, we're gonna do it again, and you know, this is not the first time I've had Filipa or Siobhán on here, and I just love how we keep gravitating towards, you know, certain people, and that's what I think people should focus on, is who are you just naturally gravitating towards. You know, I said this before, like, don't focus on how you felt before about a person, or how you think you might feel about a person if things work out, because we're changing constantly, but at the same time some people are really truly evolving with us. And those are the people that you're focusing on, and you should keep focusing on, because you know that's important, is for you to feel like it should flow naturally, you know, like feelings and emotions and relationships, everything flows or not flows. And when you don't flow, it's fine to disconnect for a little bit, but real friends always find their way back.
Yes, they do. Even after different lives, we all come back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I love you guys so much, and I thank you for being here today, and I'm sending you a big hug.
Big hug. Love you too.
Oh, all right, so I'm gonna stop the recording, and I'll see you guys again next week for another podcast episode. And I hope you're all doing well. Check out Siobhán and her podcast and her website and everything, and Filipa with her products and everything she's here offering, the new services that she's going to launch as well, because yes, we're here to work on this together. And if you guys resonate with these messages, please don't hesitate to reach out and maybe ask to record a podcast with me, and I'll be happy to promote your services or whatever you're here to offer, because that's what we're here to do, to help each other. So thank you all, and see you again soon. Say goodbye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.